Hey y'all, it's Dawn, and I'm so glad you're back. I've got another fun, budget-friendly DIY video for you today. I found this little gnome pattern online at Ruffles and Rainbows. I'll leave a link in the description to the pattern if you're interested. I printed the pattern out and then cut it out. I pinned all the body pieces to some red felt to make a Santa gnome. I then cut all the pieces out. I found this fur ribbon at Hobby Lobby and had to have it for my gnomes. I pinned the beard portion of the pattern to the fuzzy ribbon and cut it out. I started by gluing the body of the gnome together. I then rolled the arms up and glued them. This was a little tricky, and I did burn my fingers with hot glue a couple of times, but I wanted my gnome to have arms. Next, I glued the hat together. I then turned the body right side out. I placed a handful of stuffing into the top of the body and then added some Dollar Tree beans at the bottom. I used the beans to give the gnome some weight so it wouldn't just flop over. I folded the bottom of the gnome down and hot glued it. I cut another piece of felt and glued it to the bottom just to make sure it was held and the beans wouldn't fall out. I turned the hat right side out. I used a bead of hot glue on the back of the furry ribbon, attached it to the gnome body, and applied more hot glue under the beard. I used some Dollar Tree Chanel yarn, wrapped it around two of my fingers about 20 or 25 times, placed another piece of the yarn through the center, and tied a knot. This will be the pom-pom at the top of the hat. After trimming and shaping the pom-pom, I hot glued it to the top of the hat at the little point. I glued one end of the arm together, stuffed the arm with a little stuffing, and glued the arm to the gnome body. And guys, I'm sorry, but this is where the battery went dead and I didn't know it. But to finish this cute little Santa gnome off, I did the same thing with the other arm. I glued some Dollar Tree black yarn onto the ends of the arms as hands, and then glued a little Christmas tree to the hands. I also used a 12mm natural wood bead for the nose. I thought the hat needed a little something else, so I glued some of the white yarn that I had used for the pom-pom around the edge of the hat. And I think this little Santa gnome turned out so stinking cute. And I will definitely be using this pattern more. Let me know in the comments what you think of this little Santa. And again, I'm sorry about the battery running dead and not realizing it. Today's video is part of the Crafted by Corie Minis Challenge. I will leave a link to Corie's channel along with a link to this month's playlist in the description. Be sure to check out all the amazing mini ideas from the other crafters in the playlist. I cut up some fabric I had in my stash to cover some Dollar Tree round Christmas balls. I wanted the ornaments to have a rustic country feel. I used a rotary cutter to cut the fabric on a Dollar Tree cutting mat. You don't have to use fabric scraps for this project. I also have a few old flannel shirts that I'll be using. After cutting the fabric, I removed the top from the plastic ornament and started hot gluing the strips of fabric onto the ball. I glued 4 strips down opposite of each other and then filled in the rest of the ball. Once the ball was completely covered, I replaced the top on the ball. And just look at how stinking cute this simple and easy DIY is. And it makes such a huge impact. Let me know in the comments what you think of these fabric covered Christmas balls. I had these Dollar Tree party hats in my stash and thought they would make great mini Christmas trees. I used some Yarn Bee chunky yarn from Hobby Lobby on the first tree. I started at the top of the tree. I applied hot glue and started wrapping the chunky yarn around the party hat. I continued wrapping until I got to the bottom of the tree. For the second tree, I used a different yarn from Hobby Lobby. This yarn is more like a thin fur. I did the same process as I did on the first tree. Starting at the top, I added hot glue and began wrapping the hat with the furry yarn. It took longer to wrap this tree because the yarn was thinner, but it was well worth the time. For the third tree, I used this bandana from Hobby Lobby. I placed the party hat on top of the fabric and traced around it using a black Sharpie. I cut out the cone shape into 2 pieces of the bandana. The bandana is pretty thin, so that's why I used 2 pieces, so you wouldn't be able to see the color of the party hat underneath. I used a glue stick to attach the 2 pieces of fabric together. I then used hot glue to attach the fabric to the party hat. After I had the trees finished, I decided to add tree trunks. I turned the trees upside down and put a bunch of hot glue at the tip of the hat. Then I stuck a dowel into the hot glue and held it straight until the hot glue had time to set up. I put more hot glue to make sure it was secure. For the base of the trees, I used these wood slices I have in my stash and hot glued the dowel to the wood slice. I held the tree until the hot glue had time to set up. I had a couple of these rusty stars in my stash, so I glued them together and placed them on top of the first tree. On the second tree, I used this snowflake ornament I got from Hobby Lobby. I think these little Christmas trees turned out so stinking cute, and they were easy to make using these party hats. Let me know in the comments if you'll be trying to make these little Christmas trees. I would love to see how yours turn out. For this DIY, I used 2 pieces of scrap wood that were actually the perfect size for a tier tray stack book. When I make these little book stacks, the length I like to use is 5 inches, but you can use whatever size you want. I painted one of the books with Waverly white chalk paint, and the other I used Waverly crimson chalk paint. I painted all sides of both because I wasn't sure how I wanted to stack them yet. After they were both painted, I used my heat gun to dry them. I created the cut file using Design Space. I'll leave a link in the description for any Cricut users that would like to use it. After cutting and weeding, I applied the vinyl to some transfer paper and applied the sayings to the books. I decided to put North Pole on the top book and candy canes on the bottom. For some reason, the white vinyl didn't want to stick, but I did eventually get it down. Do y'all ever have this problem, or is it just me? Let me know in the comments. These are the sayings that I decided to use, but you can use any sayings that you like. To finish it off, I used this red ribbon, wrapped it around the books, and hot glued it to the bottom of the book stack. I think this little candy cane book stack turned out so amazing. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see y'all next time. Happy crafting!